Hi, my name is Bev Fearis and I'm the editor of TravelMole, and I'm here today speaking to James Cole. Now, the reason we invited James on today to speak to us is because, rather bizarrely, in the middle of a pandemic crisis, as we are apparently heading into perhaps the worst recession we've seen for 300 years, and with the travel and tourism industry particularly badly hit, and arguably the cruise sector the worst hit within the industry, James has decided to launch a new business selling cruise holidays. So welcome, James.
Hi, Bev.
Hi, I guess my first question to you today would be, are you completely mad?
Yeah, funnily enough, you're not the first person that said that, Bev. It's certainly interesting times, isn't it, to say the least. Coronavirus pandemic is affecting all of us. But in terms of Panache Cruises, it's very much of a long-term venture. And when is the right time to start up a new business? But from my point of view, starting now is as good a time as any. There's undoubtedly hurdles and a mountain to get over in terms of the pandemic. But knowing the cruise industry as I do, being hugely innovative, we'll find ways to get people back on cruise ships sooner rather than later. And over the coming months and years, we'll get cruising back on the map, and it'll be a favourite holiday choice once more.
So is this business has been in the planning for some time, obviously, presumably before the pandemic hit. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I left my last place of employment I actually started Cruise 118 back in 2008 and grew the business quite considerably. I left in 2018, March 2018. I sold my final shareholding and moved on. So since then, I've been serving a non-compete clause. I started a construction business and a property portfolio, and that's been going really well. But to be honest with you, as I got close to the end of my non-compete, which was at the end of last year, I was pining to come back into travel. There's just something about the travel industry, and very specifically for me, the cruise industry, which I've been in for over 20 years, there was some kind of magnet pulling me back in. So it was just a question of what was I going to do to get back into the industry. And certainly just over the last few weeks, really, I've pulled together the concept of Panache Cruises. And we unveiled our soft launch last week, looking to actually do a launch where we start selling cruise holidays in the next few weeks. Very exciting times, Beth.
And presumably you're looking to sell. Well, we don't even know yet, do we, when the cruise lines are going to be sailing again? What's your strategy? What are you selling just purely for next year? What's the plan?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like you say, there's no one can really give a definitive answer to when cruises are going to start. You know, we've seen Carnival looking to start cruising in August with 8 ships based from home porting from America. Hopefully that's going to happen, and hopefully that'll be the start of the major cruise lines coming back. Whether it actually starts a little bit later than that, perhaps at the end of Q3 or into Q4, we see some sailing starting, and then into 2021 when the cruise lines really get back up to speed and get their perhaps full capacity out in the marketplace. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get cruising moving again, and certainly it's going to take a long time to get the full market back up and running.
So what's your, obviously you've been in the industry for some time, not in the last few years, but before that, what is your prediction? When do you think we'll see it back to full capacity? Will it ever get back to full capacity?
Yeah, well, cruise has had its fair share of ups and downs, as has most of the travel industry, as has any industry in the pandemic that we're facing at the moment. But we don't have to look too far back to see 9/11, the ash cloud crisis, and of course the sinking of Costa Concordia, which had big impacts on the cruise industry. I mean, clearly, coronavirus pandemic is the biggest thing to face the cruise industry, as it is to face most industries in any of our lifetimes. But I'm a big believer that, you know, we'll get through this. It will take time. It might take a number of years to get back to where we've been in 2019. But I do know, having spoken to a lot of cruisers, that they're desperate to get back on cruise ships and will return in their numbers. I think undoubtedly it's going to be quite hard to persuade new to cruise people, some of those guys, to come and try cruising. It was always a difficult task. It's been made a little bit more difficult now, but you know, we're up for the challenge at Panache Cruises, and we'll do what we can to support the cruise industry to get back on its feet and get back to where it was, and hopefully surpass that in the years to come.
So what do you think the cruise industry needs to do to bring back its regular customers and to attract new ones? What measures do you think they need to put into place, and where do you think they need to target their marketing? And you know, what would, if you were to advise them and to, you know, and for them to help you in your role as to sell, what would you like them to do?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think, to be honest, thinking about it, I think cruisers fall into three different camps from the people that I've been speaking to. There's the ardent cruiser who's perhaps been on 5 or more cruises, who loves cruising. It's their number one holiday choice. Of course, they might go on different holidays, but cruising's their favoured option. I'd be one of those people, and you know, we can't wait to get back on a cruise ship. There's no doubt about it. There's then a second tranche of customers who are cruisers, but might take a little bit more persuading to get back and want to understand more, as we all do, about what health and safety procedures and policies have been put in, what changes have been made on board. Those are the things that are really critical. How am I going to get to the cruise? You know, really understanding exactly what the new policies and procedures are going to be on board, and of course getting some confidence from the cruise lines that it's safe to do so. And then I think the third tranche of people are new to cruises, and undoubtedly it's going to take a little bit more, and only time will tell of when and how we can get those people on cruise ships moving forward.
So obviously, traditionally, cruises have attracted an older clientele, and obviously with the pandemic, sadly, these are perhaps the people that have been most affected and might be the most concerned to start travelling again. So what challenges does that pose for the industry?
Yeah, I think, you know, the average age of cruising is roughly around 57. So, there's various age groups that cruise. But again, I think the same issues that I outlined before. You know, we've got to make sure that the product is safe for people, and we've got to get across the new policies and procedures that are on board, and you know, make sure people are confident to get on board. You know, be you a 20-year-old or an 80-year-old, everybody has to have confidence to travel, not just on cruise ships, but by air, by sea, whatever method they're choosing.
And do you think there'll be particular cruise lines which will be more popular than others because of the pandemic? Do you think there'll be a slight shift in what people want? Will they be looking for smaller ships? Will the luxury market do better than the mainstream? What's your feeling about what's going to recover first?
I think it's really difficult to predict, to be honest, Bev. But I mean, you know, speaking to people, there seems to be a general consensus that small ship cruising might recover a little bit quicker than the bigger ships. River cruising might recover slightly quicker. But at the end of the day, you know, we've just got to give customers confidence to travel, and only time will tell exactly how that recovery will take shape.
So I understand that you are about to start recruiting for the company. What what kinds of people are you looking for? And in this climate, when obviously with the social distancing, how are you going to go about recruiting? What challenges are there now in this particular time?
Yeah, I mean, clearly, you know, a lot of people where they can do are working from home. I've worked in a home working setting, we've really embraced home working for almost the last 15, 20 years. I've worked with home workers, so it's not something that's alien to me or to people that I've worked with before. So setting up an office from home and being able to work with people from home in the short term is certainly not an issue for us at Panache Cruises. But again, I very much value the office environment as well. You know, I don't think you can beat face-to-face meetings and face-to-face discussions for certain things. So undoubtedly over time we'll transition to an office environment while still maintaining a home working function as well. But Bev,
in terms of recruiting, though, you're going to be doing Zoom interviews? How are you going to go about doing the actual recruiting for your new business?
Yeah, absolutely. Zoom interviews over the phone. You know, reviewing people's CVs initially and covering letters that they might write. But yeah, Zoom is perfectly adequate to run an interview.
And what kinds of roles are you looking to fill initially?
We're looking to fill product and marketing roles. We're looking for sales management roles, and we're looking for people who will be able to sell products and liaise with our customers.
And have you got a team already in place? Is it at the moment? Is it just you, or have you got people already working for you?
Yeah, I'm certainly driving the agenda forward at the moment, but I'm working with actually some consultants at the moment. I'm working with people who are helping me with the marketing side of things, helping me build the website, helping me with Facebook and social media. And I've got a business partner who I'm working with on the financial side of things as well.
Okay. And this time next year, where do you hope to be, all things considered?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question, isn't it? And I'd be a fool to say exactly where I was hoping to be, but you know, certainly we'd like to be an established business in the luxury and ultra luxury cruise market, employing some a variety of different roles and working with some really good people and having some good partnerships with cruise lines as well.
Well, I wish you all the best. Good luck with everything. It's been very interesting talking to you today, and do keep us posted. Thanks very much, James.
Thanks, Bev. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.